Okay, I did something different today. I did a walk right in the mountains of North Wales, in the Ogwen Valley, underneath the big rock mountain of Tryfan, which you can see to the right there. Very impressive mountain. So this walk was only a short walk, about 1.4 miles in length, and well, not much more than 200 feet total ascent, but for me quite energetic. So I parked my car on the side of the road and then took a marked footpath which goes eventually towards Capel Currig further down the valley. I walked along this footpath to another to a gate, and joined up which looked like a footpath to begin with, but actually then not long it disappeared amongst rocks and marshy ground. But so I had to take it slowly, but I made my way up through this rough ground towards the Tryfan Bach. You can see it fairly clearly on this 3D view. It's a popular place for rock climbers, well, especially for rock climbers that are beginning to become rock climbers, or training to become rock climbers, because it's an excellent slab there. And I walked right up to the slab and had a good look at it. It's quite impressive. I've never climbed on it myself. Then I took another footpath which joined up with a main ascent footpath which goes up to the Tryfan itself and the glitters. It's quite a few walkers were on it, which was lucky for me because it was easy to spot. Wasn't quite sure where it was. So I descended down this well constructed path, lots of steps, to a farm, or a former farm, and I took a brief diversion to have a look at the campground and the facilities of this campground. Pretty rough. I used to camp there many years ago, well, about 60 years ago or more, in my little tent there, in the middle of the winter as well, so they brought back memories. Then I took up with the Capel Currig path again and walked along this. That's a very well graded path. It's very well, just right for the likes of me these days. So I continued along this path. More or less runs parallel with the main road, and at this point I joined up with the path I took towards those rock slabs. Continued along this path towards the main road, and along the side of the main road is a very popular area for walkers to park their car. Then back to where my car was. Short walk today to see some rock slabs. Tryfan Bach up here, and there's the mighty Tryfan Mawr. Okay, so I've got a choice here. I could continue along this path here to a farm and then turn right up to the left hand side of that ridge there, or I could take this rough footpath. It doesn't look too bad. I could go up there, and I'll try the rough footpath. This footpath is standard fare on mountains now. If you're climbing or walking up mountains, this is what, but unfortunately, I say I'm no longer particularly confident, especially when it's slippery in damp weather, winter weather. Yeah, it's footpath seems to have petered out at this point. Got across a boulder patch here, but the way looks quite straightforward. Okay, so this is kind of like confirmation now that my mountain climbing days or walking days are over. There's that farm. It also doubles as a campsite. I have camped in the very distant pass. I've camped there. That's a popular place to camp in the good old days. I'm talking the 1960s. Okay, that's what I was looking out for, was a different route on the way back. Yeah, that's it. They got the recommended red coats or jackets for easy visibility. Yes, it's soggy walking. And getting closer to the slab. There's a mighty Tryfan up there. Looks like the clouds are starting to lift a bit. Okay, I'll just come across that. A very, you could hardly call it a footpath. This looks like more of a footpath here, going down. That's my descent route there, straightforward. This is probably a footpath that goes up to Heather Terrace up there somewhere. But, okay, here I'm underneath the slab now. So I'll just walk up to the another, 50, 100 feet maybe, underneath the slab. And then retrace my steps. This is, I say, I won't bother to go any further. It's just a pile of rocks here. And descending I find more awkward than going up for keeping your balance. But yeah, about 200 feet of slab climbing there. And I think there's probably, this kind of is a good competitor with the Idwell slabs in Coombe Idwell. Yes, all good things come to an end, I'm afraid. And those days of clambering up slippery rocks, and especially clambering down them, are over for me. Now, a couple of weeks ago, this would have been the time to come here for. All these would have been plastered with snow. Okay, I'll make my way down there. Looks like a pretty decent footpath going down to the farm there. It's the edge of Tryfan Bach with the real Tryfan behind it. And okay, so look at this. Signs I'm coming close to civilization. An actual constructed footpath, which only kind of came a few yards and then disappeared. You can see those people coming down, but that's the ascent route to, one of the ascent routes to the Glidders, to the eastern side of the Glidders. So these people have had an energetic day that are coming down. They're coming down from the Glidders, that is, and there'll probably be a bit of snow on the top as well. Okay, this I remember this path from years gone by. It's well constructed path here to go stop oil erosion. Yeah, well constructed. Okay, you want to contribute to the upkeep of these footpaths, there's a little slot there for the same. There's those two walkers, seem fairly well equipped. And there's the farm. I'll just go down. There's a public footpath here, just to have a look at the campsite. I used to camp, as I say, in the good old days. That was one of the places I used to set up my little tent, two-man tent. Yeah, there's the, well, I don't think it's any longer a farm, but it's the reception's inside the house, so they make an income. But yes, there's a couple of people there in little camp chairs. Yeah, it's quite nice conditions. It's clearing off a bit. There's a couple of little tents here. Look, they're the type of tents that can withstand the gale force winds. Yeah, excellent. Yeah. Pretty basic, of course, but it does have a couple of wash basins. And the facilities, yeah, muy bien. Yeah, and a showers and washroom, not bad at all. And must be doing all right. He's got a fairly up-to-date all-terrain vehicle there. Those might have been the owners. There were in those kind of camp chairs. So they seem to be keeping a beady eye on me. I was actually slightly trespassing if I'm not an actual patron of the campsite. A little perspective, is it in focus? A little perspective against, because if you don't have a perspective, it's hard to judge the distances. I'm afraid this is more of my walking style. Now along these manicured footpaths. Okay, I'm going to end this video here, I think, and that's come full circle. That's where I left this path to go up. Well, it was a clear footpath to begin with, but then it more or less disappeared a bit later on. Okay, so I'll finish up this video here then. I just got to walk 200-300 yards to where I parked the car on the side of the road. Okay, one last clip. That was just to show how popular it still is walking in the middle of the winter. So I parked on the side of the road just a few yards ahead. So this is the end of the video right here.